Rafael Fiziev's hopes for a massive BMF showdown with Charles Oliveira have just hit a wall. After steamrolling Manuel Torres in his last outing, Fiziev publicly campaigned for that dream matchup, but according to the trusted MMA insider Submission Radio, the UFC isn't biting. Sources close to the promotion say Fiziev hasn't done enough yet to skip the line straight into a top 5 opponent. In other words, before he gets anywhere near the lightweight elite again, he's going to need to rack up a couple more victories first. It's a tough pill to swallow for a fighter who genuinely believed his last win would catapult him right back into the title picture. But there's a silver lining here too. Fiziev recently got candid about his mental journey back from adversity, admitting that watching Justin Gaethje dominate Ilia Topuria gave him a jolt of belief he badly needed. After dropping 2 fights to Gaethje himself, Fiziev confessed he'd started to doubt whether he could still compete at the very top. Seeing Gaethje pull off that performance reminded him that anything is still possible, even at the highest level of this sport. Let's roll the clip.
Fizzy wants a BMF title shot. It ain't gonna happen. Him versus Charles Oliveira. I feel like he still needs to pick up a couple of wins before that happens. Also, Charles Oliveira after his fight with Max Holloway, I feel like people would feel like he would just take him down or whatever and just dominate him on the ground. But there are a lot of great fights there in the division for him, man. Like a lot of legends that would make a lot of sense. Who do you think Fizzy should fight next? I mean, I was just talking to Dan Hooker, who is adamant the UFC will not put him up against another older guy. But I guess Fizzy's 33,
yeah,
so you
why
can
not?
get a few more years out of him.
That would be a fight that makes sense to me. I mean, you can also see Quillen Salkeld, I think, is somebody who's now in a position to face a guy like Fizzy. You can see what Tom Nolan's got. I mean, Tom Nolan's ranked now. That would be a matchup that would make sense to me. There's a lot of good matchups, really, for Fizzy. The rematch with Gamrot, I mean, there was a kind of a fluke injury that ended that one.
Veteran striking coach Ray Longo is convinced that Ian Garry has a far better shot at beating Islam Makhachev than most fans want to admit. Longo's reasoning centers on Garry's footwork. He says it's the foundation of Garry's entire offensive and defensive game, constantly keeping him out of range and making Makhachev's signature clinch entries a serious problem to solve. But not everyone agrees with that read. John Jones, for one, sees this matchup playing out in a completely different direction.
I'm going with Islam because he has a wrestling background, and it's hard to beat wrestlers. So Islam, he may just be one of the greatest fighters in the world right now. It's me and maybe him. So I encourage him to just keep going.
Despite Jones backing the champion, Ian Garry himself isn't backing down an inch. The Irishman insists he's the single trickiest stylistic puzzle Islam could possibly face, and he claims he can feel deep down that Team Khabib already knows exactly how dangerous he is. According to Garry, that's precisely why Makhachev has been calling out names like Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, and even Kamaru Usman instead of jumping at the chance to fight him. Let's hear what Ray Longo has to say.
Gary's been talking about the wrestling for the last couple of years, so he's 1,000,000% putting the time in. He's a huge welterweight, which is going to pose a problem. I think he's got an awkward style. He's got, he moves a lot, and he seems to find a way to win fights. So I think this is a really tough matchup for Islam because of the size and the fact that he's had you kind of know what's going to happen. And I'm interested to see how that plays out. But this will be, I think, a really true test of where Islam is as a welterweight, because this kid's huge. He is a big welterweight.
It's further complicated for Islam Makhachev because of that length that you talked about as well, Ray. This is a guy who's like 6'3", 170 pounds. Yeah. He can use those long-range weapons, be it the teeth down the middle or the kicks upstairs or those long jabs, to keep Islam frustrated and maybe force him into some bad shots.
There's a major update on the Khamzat Chimaev Sean Strickland rematch saga, and it sounds like this fight could be coming together a lot faster than fans expected. After dropping the middleweight title, Dana White suggested Chimaev was eyeing a jump up to light heavyweight, but fresh comments out of Chimaev's camp suggest that plan has been shelved. At least for now, the former champion's full focus, according to his team, is locking in another crack at Strickland. Speaking with the Russian outlet Low Kick MMA, Chimaev's representatives confirmed that a formal rematch offer has already gone out to both the UFC and Strickland's camp. Their message was simple: the offer's been submitted, and now it's just a matter of nailing down the date. The decision sits with Strickland right now, but all signs point toward this rematch happening before the year is out. If this rematch gets signed, it puts Chimaev's move to light heavyweight on ice for now. Everything comes down to whether Sean Strickland accepts what could turn into one of the biggest rematches of the entire year. Here's how Michael Bisping reacted to the whole situation.
Khamzat, as a fighter, doesn't want to leave that one fight sitting there with the world to remember. He doesn't want to be seen as a guy that ran away to another weight class because he couldn't beat Sean Strickland, okay? As a man, as a fighter, that prides yourself on your fighting ability, and when you've dedicated your entire life to this, of course, that stings. You want to get that one back. But the reality here is that the bad performance, even though I thought it was a good fight and it was a split decision, and honestly, it could have gone either way. A lot of people thought Khamzat should have won. A lot of people thought Sean should have won, okay? It was really close. Do you value the strikes, the less insignificant strikes of Sean, the jabs, or the bigger shots, even though there wasn't quite as many of Khamzat Chimaev? Yeah, he got takedowns early in round one, but he didn't really do much with it, and he didn't do any damage. And then after that, we didn't really see any takedowns because his body did shut down at the end of the second round. Ultimately, all of that responsibility and all of that blame rests on Khamzat.
Justin Gaethje just beat Ilia Topuria to become the new lightweight champion of the world, and instead of slowing down, he's already looking ahead to the next storm. Gaethje has confirmed he'll be cage-side on July 11th at the T-Mobile Arena when Conor McGregor finally makes his long-awaited return at UFC 329. This isn't just a champion watching from the crowd. Justin has unfinished business with both men on that card. Back in 2019, an injury wiped out a scheduled clash with McGregor before it ever happened. And at UFC 300, Max Holloway knocked Justin out cold in one of the wildest finishes in promotion history. So when International Fight Week rolls around, Gaethje won't just be a spectator, he'll be scouting his next blockbuster opponent. Speaking on the Jim Rome Show, Gaethje didn't hold back. He admitted Holloway truly knocked him out, but said the Topuria win settled that score in his mind. And on McGregor, he was even more direct, saying he'd love nothing more than to put a fist on the Irishman's face. Gaethje made it clear this isn't personal hatred, it's business. A fight with McGregor would be massive financially, and it would cement his legacy at the very top of the sport. Whether it's McGregor or Holloway waiting next, one thing is certain, the champion is already plotting his next chapter.
It is very, very difficult to even guess. I mean, with how long he's been out, I hope that he's, I'm sure that he has committed enough time, 8 months to training for one of these fights. And again, fighting's crazy. We have no idea what's going to happen. They're fighting at 170, so it makes it a little bit different. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens in that fight. Max definitely knocked me out, but I feel like I got that win back with the Ilia Topuria fight. And I would love, as I've stated hundreds of times publicly, I would love to punch Conor McGregor in the face. So yeah, I'm excited about that fight. I'm excited to be there and watch it. I mean, there's no doubt he's one of the biggest superstar in the sport, and so fighting a guy like that obviously does great things for me financially, and for my legendary status and stuff like that.
Tom Aspinall has now joined the growing pile-on against veteran referee Herb Dean. After yet another weekend of glaring fouls going completely ignored, Aspinall took to social media to vent his frustration, bluntly saying that MMA doesn't really have rules anymore, just suggestions. He's not alone in that frustration either. Alex Pereira is still seething over how Dean handled his recent loss to Cyril Gane, and that controversy is far from over. A Brazilian MMA critic took to Instagram, questioning whether Pereira's non-stop complaints about officiating had finally gone too far. Pereira didn't hold back his response. "You sit in your chair talking nonsense, waiting for me to respond like now to make a video of my response to get engagement. Man, my biggest concern right now is knowing how I'm going to protect the money I earned just in this fight. I found out if the money stays in a single account and the bank goes bankrupt, the insurance gives me a low amount. So I'm trying to find a way to leave the money in one account or have the work of opening more than 50 accounts with his future weight class still up in the air." UFC veterans Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy shared their own thoughts on where Pereira goes from here.
With Alex, I think he'll be back. Whether he goes to 205 or he stays at heavyweight will yet to be seen. I honestly think he'll probably stay at heavyweight. I think that he'll spend this time just kind of eating normal, training normal, and not having to worry about anything but just getting in the gym and trying to get better. And I think you're going to see a better Alex the next time around. The question is, who do you see him fight though, now that he's lost?
Well,
who at heavyweight?
I mean, if you want to have a good, stylistic fight and say, all right, here's who I'm going to put you against, I'd put him against Volkov. Alexander Volkov, he's 6'7", He's a big, long, rangy guy, but he likes to stand up. He doesn't wrestle a whole lot. And so I'm going to give Poatan the chance of, all right, let's see how you do against a big heavyweight. He's big, but he's not real fast. So speed-wise, it's not going to be a real contest or anything like that.
12 years. That's how long it's been since Conor McGregor knocked out Diego Brandao in front of his own people in Dublin. Back when he first blew up, McGregor used to talk about one day headlining a stadium show in his hometown, 80,000 fans, pure chaos. But Dana White never liked the idea of outdoor shows in Europe, and that dream just sat there untouched. Now somebody else wants to be the one who finally makes it happen. Ian Machado Garry, not by asking nicely, by taking Islam Makhachev's welterweight title at UFC 330 on August 15th. 11 wins, the most decorated Irishman in UFC history if he gets past Makhachev. And in Gary's mind, that's exactly the resume you need to drag the promotion back across the Atlantic and finally give McGregor the homecoming he never got.
And I want to be the type of guy that brings the UFC back to Ireland. It's been a long time. Do you know what I mean? I've been carrying this flag for Irish MMA for a long, long time. With my next fight, I'm the most victorious Irishman in UFC history. I'll have 11 wins. And I want to bring them back here. I've been saying it from day one. I am the next superstar of Irish MMA. I'm going to be carrying that second wave. And I want to bring them back to Copac. I want to bring them back to Dublin. I want to bring them back wherever they think they can go, because these fans deserve it.
That's it from MMA Time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA updates.